How are you, Ashley? I'm just trying to get on Facebook right now. Anthony? Should we rock and roll?
Go for it.
Well, good evening, folks, and welcome to the Mastermind call. We're trying to get live on Facebook, and it always works out kind of not right on time. At any rate, the goal of the Mastermind call is to, first of all, empower us by becoming better communicators, because there's a fear out there of public speaking. So by coming to these calls, you're able to share your thoughts, ideas, and yes, your chief aim with us. And the hope is that within a 3-month period, we'll be at least at the beginning point of our future of attainment. One thing is for certain, and one thing is for certain, that if you were to sit down and write on a piece of paper a statement as to what you would like to get from life, and in the back of the paper, you know, what you intend to give in return for those riches or whatever it is that you want from life, and then just come here and share with us those goals and ideas. And within a 3-month period, you would at least be at the beginning of achieving those goals. It has worked for us, and it can work for any one of us, any one of you guys. So welcome to the call. My name is Hugo De La Torre. Would you like to introduce yourself before we get rock and rolling?
Welcome to the call, everybody. My name is Matt. I'm from Jackson, Michigan, and I love being on the call. The purpose of the call for me is to learn the laws of success and to collaborate with my brothers and sisters to be able to understand the laws of success better. When I do that in my life, I keep them at the forefront of my mind, and I am able to act more successful in my everyday life. So I appreciate everybody coming together and making this a serious part of your life. Being a part of this mastermind group for me has helped me develop friendships for life, for one thing, but it has also helped me define my definite chief aim. And if you're like me and you're just getting started out and you don't have a definite chief aim yet in life, you'll begin to start to flush that out. So that's really important as you join the call, whether it be on the web conference that we have here or watching it on Facebook. You know, you think about your definite chief aim and defining it. But in general, for me, that's what it helped me do. So I appreciate the opportunity that I'm able to share time with Andre and Hugo and Anthony and Ashley and Napoleon Hill himself and Claudine.
That's it. Thank you, Matt. My name is André Guérin from Lachute, Quebec, the French side of Canada. And I'm very glad to be on that mastermind call again, because it's always helping me to achieve my goal. Small goals are like big goal. You have to do the small one to achieve the big one. So for that, I like to learn the law of success with my fellow friend, American friend, and everything gonna be all right. Thank you, everybody, to be at that call.
All right. Well, tonight we're going to do something a little bit different. You know, the whole goal here is that, yes, we like to drive people to Napoleon Hill Foundation so that they may take the course, and by doing so, you can become a public speaker on these principles. So tonight, the course is based on this book. And in there, they have the same 17 principles. So tonight we're going to go a little bit derailed from the Laws of Success book, being that it's such a large book and there's so much stories to tell in there. So welcome to the call. You ready, Matt?
Yes, sir. I'm ready to rock and roll. I hope everybody's got their budget cap on and ready to think about the habit of saving time and money.
Very cool. We're going to go through a little points tonight. First one is we're going to take a personal inventory of ourselves. Then we're going to find out what the doers and the drifters. What's the difference between a doer and a drifter? And how does a doer use his time? And some things that you should know about the people that are doers. How to divide our day. I don't know if we're going to get through all this stuff tonight, but that's just some of the key points that we're going to talk about tonight. Fair enough?
Fair enough, my friend.
All right, so here we go. Tell me how you use your time and how you spend your money, and I will tell you where you're gonna be 5, 10 years from now. You can analyze a person by just doing that. Because you see, time and money is a precious resource. And few people that are striving for success ever believe that they have enough of either one or the other one. So understanding how we use this is an important part, or we have to evaluate ourselves. And we have to analyze ourselves to see what's holding us back. And so we're going to begin the chapter by taking a little inventory of ourselves to find out what progress are we doing towards achieving our goal. And the emphasis at first is time. I know it's about the habit of savings, but you'd be surprised. We're going to talk a little bit about time. And once we see how to improve and use our time, we're going to be able to devote more time to managing our monies. And a review of this is a great thing to follow. It's a very valuable thing. So let's take a little personal inventory of ourselves.
We got to ask ourselves the following questions, Hugo, and we got to answer them honestly, because we're only cheating ourselves if we don't. We want to identify areas that need improvement, not win a prize for a high ranking, so it's important to be honest. Feeding our ego by lying to ourselves about the truth will only waste the time that we spend on the inventory, and it will undermine our self-confidence. So number one we talked about is a definite purpose. Do you have a major definite purpose? What plans do you have for attaining it? How much time are you devoting to those plans on a persistent daily basis? Like, are you coming to the calls? Are you joining us in communicating about the laws of success in order to flesh out your definite chief aim? Are you doing the things necessary? Is a good question to ask yourself. How often do you work on your plans? Only when the notion strikes you, or when you can snatch a few minutes during commercials? Are you doing it consistently, or are you just doing it half-assed? So that's a good question to ask yourself.
I think is your definite major purpose a burning obsession? How often are you flaming the flames of your burning desire?
What have you planned to give in return for realizing your definite major purpose, guys? You can't just expect to get something for nothing, right? I mean, do you really want something for nothing anyway? What have you decided to give in exchange for realizing your definite major purpose? Are you doing it yet? When will you start?
I like the way you said that. And what steps are you taking to build your mastermind alliance? That's one of the biggest things, the thing that we have here tonight, a mastermind alliance. Not only like us, but you should also have a mastermind alliance in your business, at home, between you and your creator. And but how often are you in contact with those members? And how many of them do you speak on a monthly, weekly, or daily basis?
So ask yourself another question. Have you made a habit of accepting temporary defeat as a challenge to greater effort? Temporary defeat is just a challenge to put forth greater effort. And have you made that a habit of accepting that? Let's hope that your temporary defeats are few. But of course, they're going to be inevitable. We might as well make the most of them. How quickly do we seek out the seed of equivalent benefit when adversity strikes?
Yeah, a lot of people spend their time thinking of only of the obstacles. So the question that arises, how do you spend more of your time? Carrying out your plans or finding out all the obstacles?
That's right. You can focus on whatever you want, right, Hugo?
Absolutely.
How often do we forego personal pleasure in order to have more time to work on our plan? How often is it the other way around?
I'm being tested tonight, so I approve of that statement. And the other one becomes do you seize every moment of time as if we're only you, as if like this was our last day in our world? That's how you got to look at life.
Well, have you looked at your life as the result of the way you spent time in the past? Are you happy with your life to date? I mean, looking back on your past, are you happy with who you've become? Do you wish you would have spent your time in another way? Do you regard each second that passes as the opportunity to change the course of your life for the better? Are you living on a positive, upbeat notion?
How about that mental attitude? Is it positive? Most of the time, at least, or some of the time? I mean, is it positive right now as you enter these goals? And can you make it positive in the next second? How about the one after that? You have to have a positive mental attitude in life. Otherwise, negativity just starts like a monkey that we carry about the habit of savings.
Well, here's a good one on personal initiative. How often do you display it? By backing your positive thoughts with action.
Do you believe that your success is going to be based on luck? That you're going to win the lottery and all of a sudden there's going to be a windfall of money coming your way? And if that's so, when is it going to happen? I mean, do you believe that you will succeed as a result of your own effort? Are you listening? Own effort. There's, like you said before, there's no such thing as something for nothing. And when are you going to start to make those efforts?
Do you know anyone who inspires you with his or her personal initiative? How often do you seek that person out? How often do you actually model your behavior on him or her?
That's a great one. That is a great one. That is a great one. You have to have someone to look up to. You'll be surprised how many people will be willing to help you if you ask a question. If those people are sincere, they have a sincerity of purpose, they will help you. Find someone to look up to. It's very important. And this thing about going the extra mile, are you doing this thing every day? Or are you doing it just when someone is paying attention to you? How about the attitude? Is it your attitude good when you're rendering more and better service than you get paid for? Or when you're doing it, is it a drudge to do it? When you're doing additional work that you're not getting paid for?
How attractive is your personality? That's a good question to ask yourself. Do you look at yourself in the mirror every morning and work to improve your smile or your facial expressions or the way that you express yourself? Do you just brush up before an important meeting? And I know I've been guilty of just brushing up before an important meeting, but I definitely could see myself taking time to improve my smile or my facial expressions for sure.
How about faith? You know, everybody says they have faith, but are you applying that faith? When you do act on the inspiration from infinite intelligence, how often do you ignore it? You know, this thing called hunches. When you have a hunch, that's your faith telling you, or divine providence talking to you. And there's a saying that those hunches, they either become a blessing or they become and I don't want to go there.
Well, are you building your self-discipline? How often do uncontrolled emotions cause you to do something you quickly regret?
Mhm.
We're almost done.
I've had that plenty of time in my life where I've had uncontrolled emotions cause me to do something I quickly regret. I'm glad those days are long ago, but I've had those days.
You know, how often do we accept other people's opinions as fact? Do you question those opinions every time you encounter them? And how often do you call on accurate thinking as to the solutions to your problems? You know, that was Andre's favorite thing, accurate thinking. And you see how we're going through the 16 laws of success. I hope people understand this. Go ahead, Matt.
Well, have you mastered your fears? How often do you display their symptoms? When do you replace them with your ambitions?
Wow. And how about this cooperation? I mean, are you inspired by the cooperation of others? And more than that, by giving it? Are you doing this at home, in the office, in your Mastermind Alliance?
Here's a good question. What opportunities do you allow your imagination? I mean, really, what time are you giving yourself every day on a daily basis to exercise your imaginations. When you apply yourself to problems with creative vision, it brings about different answers. What dilemmas do you have that need to be solved this way? Open up your mind and use your imagination.
How about this sound health? You know, sound health, a lot of times it's not in the laws of success, but it's good to, that's what we're talking about here. I mean, are we relaxing and exercising and paying attention to our health? I mean, if not, why not? What can we do to start right now?
You know, this inventory is designed to get us thinking. Our use of time reflects the degree to which we have made the principles of personal achievement a part of our life. So what are you doing with your time? Do you have personal achievement goals and desires? Don't be discouraged if your answers to these questions are not yet what you'd like them to be. The author has sold books to millions of people, and he's lectured to thousands more. Many of them have gained great success afterwards, but none of them did it overnight. Although the benefits from success can accrue very quickly, most truly successful people need much of a lifetime to get everything they want. Those are lifetimes well spent.
And that takes us to the 9:17 mark. Please do share a thought. Which one of those piqued your interest?
Thank you, gentlemen, because making a personal inventory of who you are is very important in life. You cannot change something you don't know you have. If you take the time to write who you are, the good way and the bad way, and making a good inventory of it, you're gonna know what you have to change, especially for the habit of saving. If you take the time to look at your bank account and where you spend your money, that's a good way to, you know, to learn who you are with your money. And personally, I do that 10 years ago, and it helped me a lot to to understand why my bank account was so up and down. And it's okay today. It's okay today. I correct that thing. But for my personal life, yeah, personally, I have to train 4 times per week to keep in shape, and it's good for my brain to put some oxygen on it. And for the little ephemeron, you know, the good stuff happen. And achieving a goal with your personal inventory is very important. You know, yeah, the deadline. We talk about time. If I put a deadline on me to achieve a goal, I have to do A, B, C, D, and I have to do the A and the B and the C. And sometimes, you know, I stick on the letter. Sometimes the B is very tough to do, but when I pass it, I go on the C, and something else happen, and it go faster. But with the law of success and with the backing by a good mastermind, you know, when the people around you make an effort each day to achieve their goal, and they talk about their struggle, they talk about this and that. It's good for me to understand I'm not alone. You know, when you don't feeling alone, you're feeling much stronger, and you're gonna make action to know who you are, and you achieve what you got in mind. Maybe it takes more time because sometimes I got idea would cost a lot of money, and I have to budget in the long run. You know, a 5-year project is a 5-year project. It cannot be done in 1 year. And with a good mastermind alliance, well, I succeed a lot slowly but surely. So managing my time is very important, especially when you pass 60. The meter is running fast, and and I don't have to forget. I have to love what I do, you know, because the time is running very fast, and I have to do what I love. So thank you very much.
Again, folks, this is a round table, so we can all share our thoughts. And anytime, stop us and do share a thought. The next.
So I'd like to share a couple of thoughts actually. I think it's really important to take inventory throughout your life of where you are. And I think a lot of these questions are really great for me to take back into a lot of the things I'm out to do right now. And it's funny, I've made personal growth and development a part of my life, at least for the past decade. I still have decades to go, but the past decade, and I find that every time I face a new mountain or challenge, it's important to do the inventory because you grow, and then there's another, barrier, limiting beliefs or challenges that you get to, because exactly what was said earlier, what took you there to meet, those goals isn't going to take you to your next, right? I mean, it'll get you there at least to the starting line again, but especially when you challenge yourself to take on more and be more or new, just bigger goals. I think it's always important to take inventory, and there's a lot of different areas I feel that I need to work on, of course. And I know like a key too throughout the process is remembering to be grateful for the process of growth along the way, because I feel like with achievement, and for any achievers, it's one of those things where you constantly feel like you're not enough or not doing enough. And I think it's really important to just acknowledge how far you've come. So I think taking these inventories and making note of it, you can always look back and be like, wow, I have come a long way. But even to add to this all, I was listening to a really wonderful speaker earlier today that was talking about time. And I love how we're relating this to the habit of saving and money, because he was talking about there's 4 ways people get compensated. And he said that the first way is you get money for the time you put into it, right? So money for time, right? And that's how most people live their life. Then the next level is, after you kind of master what you're doing, you get paid for what you do. And then the next level after that is you get paid for what you know, so the knowledge over time. And then finally, he said that you get, like, the ultimate, right, is to be paid for who you are. And I love that. And I feel like taking these personal inventory things, that is stretching who we are and who we're out to be, and, letting go of all the stuff that really are just limiting beliefs and fears to who we really are, to be who we're meant to be in the world, and really achieve our ultimate purpose. So just some thoughts on that.
Those are some really good thoughts. It echoes true to the laws of creation as far as I understand them, and you're doing it right by giving gratitude and constantly taking self-inventory of yourself, because that's what it does, is it allows us to exercise the laws of creation in a positive manner, which is one of the reasons I come to the Mastermind call, is to stay in tune and to always exercise in a positive manner, to stay in tune with the laws of creation. So it's good that you're here and so insightful on, the things you said. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm curious about that laws of creation. Is that just like creativity, or is that probably a whole other talk?
The laws of creation are just something that I made up, really. To me, it's all about the laws of creation. And if you look around you, everything around you is in a form of creation, one stage of life or another. So Napoleon Hill has always asked us to model nature, and you see creation all around us. So
very cool.
That makes sense. That's kind of like how he was talking about how the laws of nature, they're all aiming to be in cooperation and harmony.
Yeah.
And probably expression of an ultimate aim or purpose.
That's the most beautiful expression, isn't it? When you reach something with harmony. It can be with your husband and wife. It can be with your mastermind group. But those are the most beautiful moments, and the moments that we're influenced most by ethereal forces is when we have perfect harmony. So that's what we seek for.
Very good. Very good. Very good, folks. Let's get into Napoleon here. We're going to talk about the doers and the drifters. Let's see, they have doers and they have drifters. Right? You want to take one and I'll take the drifters. You do the doers, and then we'll do one at a time. But at the end of the day, your attitude towards life determines your attitude towards time. People pretty much fall into two kinds of people. Those that do and those that just drift to life. So Matt, tell me what the doers do. One by one, you do one and I'll do the other one, maybe?
Well, the doers have a definite major purpose, Hugo.
And the drifters, they have no goals.
Well, the doers, they manage circumstance and resources.
And the drifters are controlled by circumstances and the lack of resources.
Well, the doers, they examine every idea they encounter before they adopt or discard it.
And the drifters, what they do is they flip from one idea to another.
Well, the doers, they take risks and they assume responsibility.
The drifters, they run from opportunity and blame others for their lot in life.
The doers learn from their mistakes.
And the drifters, what they do is they make the same mistake over and over and over and over. What they call that? Insanity.
The doers, they go the extra mile.
And the drifters, they only take just enough to get by.
The doers control their habits, which is a big thing this day and age, controlling your habits.
And the drifters let their habits control them.
The doers have positive mental attitudes.
And of course, the drifters are always complaining. I mean, negative mental attitude at work.
The doers apply their faith in their own success.
That's what we're doing here tonight. So all of us here on the call are doers, because the other ones, what they're doing is they're watching TV. They never take the time to improve their life.
Well, there's some watchers that we have tonight on the call. I think we've got 3 of them, and they're doers as well. They're taking the time out of their lives.
Amen, brother.
Yep. So we appreciate you guys on the call. The doers, they apply their faith in their own success. I already read that one. The doers create mastermind alliances to expand their knowledge and expertise.
And the drifters, you know what they do? They learn everything from TV. I'm sorry, I had to go there. I didn't watch much TV lately.
The doers, they recognize their weaknesses and they take steps to correct them.
And the drifters, they don't even know they have weakness. Even if they bite him in the back. You know what I'm saying? So
that's so true.
Anybody want to share a thought?
Yeah, the drifter, they are people who are afraid. They got fear and they don't want to face it. And when you start to face your fear, you start to make an inventory of you, and you start to ask your good questions of why I am like that and why my life is so boring. And you're going to take action and something going to happen. And maybe you're going to join a mastermind like us. And you're going to do what you have to do in life.
Amen, brother. Amen. Amen. Thank you for saying that. You know, Matt, you mentioned that there was a couple of people on the call that might not be participating in the call, that might be listening on Facebook. Well, my guess is that if you made it this far, you're determined to be a doer. And I'm here to tell you that that's a great thing. So let us look at some of the places where a doer makes a difference in his or her life by the wise use of time.
Well, a doer in their occupation sees work as the source of all opportunity, a route to independence and security, and a means to better the surrounding world. Doers select work suited to their education and their temperaments, and they engage in labors of love. Doers don't evaluate their work by the number of hours it takes. They look at it from the perspective of the amount of useful service that they render by going the extra mile. Time is a tool for them, not an end. They take pride in their achievements, not in bursting out the door at 4:59 p.m. and 59 seconds. They don't complain about long hours, and they don't complain that the hours aren't long enough to accomplish everything they want. As a result, doers get paid twice. Not only do they take checks home, but they also earn the right to better jobs and bigger checks in the future.
That's great.
Absolutely.
I like that. I like that. I like that. At any time, put your 2 cents in there. That's how Mastermind works. Please understand that. That's why we gotta sometimes slow down, man, and say, let people speak, bro, because those are the way we get the nuggets. Please share those thoughts. You don't understand how important those thoughts are, because now I'm not gonna get paid by time or what I do, but who I am. So thank you, Ashley. I'm gonna live by that motto for the rest of the week. Question arises as to who are you? As to our mental habits. You know, a doer takes possession of his mind through self-discipline. That's why we're here tonight. We make plans and we carry them out. They direct their minds towards the object that you desire, and then they keep their minds occupied only on those things. They don't spend time thinking about the things that you don't want. Stop that. Doers recharge their positive mental attitude often, like coming to these goals. Their productivity gives them a concrete sign of the progress, like Ashley said. When you put a sign, you set up goals, and then you see them there, and these are the signs of the indication that great things are coming our way. They're right on the horizon.
Thank you, Hugo. Well, having a goal is very important. Having a plan to do it is very important too, but having honesty, humor, and humility to go on life and with a goal without talking about that to many people, just the people who is possible to do it with you. That's a kind of discipline I like, you know, to don't tell all my idea to everybody, and to take a massive action to doing it. And the habit of saving was the one I worked the most on it, because when you got some saving to start your own business, or to buy a pattern or a copyright thing like that, and you receive it and you look at that and said, well, the A is done. Now we have to do the B to make the production and thing like that. Well, you take yourself seriously, but you know, life is very, very fast. So humility and learning how to laugh at me when I am too serious and I want this thing go too fast, and take the knowledge to know to manage my time in the good way. To don't take myself, you know, to don't stress too much for nothing. That's very good too. So with the help of the 16 law and this mastermind, is possible to understand that. Thank you very much.
Well, we've talked about how a doer uses time. That's what we're talking about. And we talked about how the doer uses time in occupation. We've talked about how the doer uses time with their mental habits. Now we're going to talk about how the doer uses his time with relationships. Relationships are so important. And a doer inspires cooperation from others by giving it first. Doers don't spend time arguing or nitpicking or gossiping, and they avoid people who do. Doers don't waste their time with drifters.
Now I'm going to stop you there, Matt. Say it one more time. Say it one more time, please.
Doers don't spend time arguing, nitpicking, or gossiping, and they avoid people who do.
I like that. Thank you.
Well, doers
sometimes, sorry.
Go ahead.
Sometimes it's hard to overcome being able to burn bridges when they're necessary, and so to speak, you know, to not mess with people who bring you down, or stop you from doing things in life.
Yeah, doers don't waste their time with drifters either.
That's what I mean.
Yep. They realize
Sometimes it's hard to realize, especially when it's like a family member or something of that nature, that you've got to let go because they're putting a wall in your life to making it impossible for you to succeed.
Yep.
Wow.
Defeatist attitudes can be contagious.
Absolutely. And toxic.
Very good feedback. Thank you for that.
And I think to add to that about people you interact with, it's just that I guess what Napoleon was, studying the definite aim part and self-confidence part, they're saying the blending of minds. Oh no, it's on the mastermind principles. Like you're blending with these people, you're taking on their energy, even if it's like their, the conversations that come up, just being mindful of who you associate. But I associate with, and I know for myself personally, I do, I'm active in trying to avoid, drifters and those kinds of conversations that come with drifters. But I know personally, even on, some of these different ways of being, how we're distinguishing between doers and drifters. I think like everyone's a little bit of both. And it's easy for a bad habit to be the access point to drift more. Whether it's like you drift a little bit in integrity in this one area and then it shows up in your business and then in your relationships and then your, you know what I mean? So to be very vigilant to not have drifting habits come in that can really derail. And I feel like we all can get there, even whether it's our health, or, we get a little bit, whatever with money or whatever it might be, but it does, I feel like we have a little bit of both, but to really use self-discipline as the access point to be more of a doer, I think is a key too.
Absolutely. I have to agree with you on that. I like how you stated that. And I believe that we do have a little bit of both in all of us. So thank you for that. That's a lot for me to think about. I appreciate you, Ashley.
Very cool.
You're welcome.
Yep. That's where the magic happens, guys. Doers do have sympathy for drifters. They'll even point the way towards definiteness of purpose and lend a hand to anyone who has gained just that much. But they know that they can't help someone who isn't ready to help himself or herself. They also delegate work. Doers know that you should never do anything which you can get someone else to do for you better than you can do it. They realize that they have to be available to the people who are working with them, and they offer those people all the access they need.
Pretty good stuff.
Well, could you repeat that whole sentence again?
They realize they have to be available to the people who are working with them, and they offer those people all the access they need.
I think that takes a lot of wisdom to distinguish, when to be able to, I guess, do that is what I'm kind of hearing in that. But I agree with that statement.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. As to help.
So in other words, with that statement, someone like me who's brand new, I haven't read Napoleon Hill, I wouldn't be able to provide as much wisdom in that area.
Don't say that here. Don't say that.
We're talking about being in a relationship, and we're talking about being a doer. So you know just as much as anybody else.
Yeah, I am definitely a doer. I've been a doer my entire life. I do know that. I've also been the other part as well. I've been sucked away. So, yeah.
That's awesome. You got a perspective. That's the law of comparative value there.
Very good. Very good. Very good. 9:40. You see how time flies when you're having fun. And as the group grows, I don't know if an hour is going to be sufficient time. All along, we have never gone beyond the hour mark. So let us just try to get to the bottom of this real quick. Health. I mean, are you paying attention to your health? Are we relaxing and exercising and eating right? And yes, at times we have to go see the doctor here and there because the idea will be to prevent something before it happens. And then we can have a sound mind and sound health, and then we can really tackle any task at hand. Matt, as to religion.
Well, doers are people of active faith. They let their commitment to leading their lives morally and honorably insulate them from fear and arrogance. Their consciences don't have reason to reproach them because they spend all their time in constructive efforts. In addition, doers are people of every religion, no matter what their convictions are. They live by them to the fullest extent. Whenever they face problems, they turn to those convictions and make their decisions based upon them. They are not paralyzed by doubt, and they can act immediately.
That is correct, brother. And as to spare time, doers put the time they have away from their jobs in practical uses. Let me say that again. Doers put the time they have away from their jobs to practical uses. And by this means, when you're at home, don't think of work. And when you're at work, don't think of home. The doers, what they do is when they're away from work, they spend time, they romance your spouse, laugh at your children, relax, do some exercises, spend time with your friends, educate yourself, and work on the plans that you have towards your major purpose. See, a doer doesn't have to be a workaholic. We have to understand that. They know how to do things in a systematic ways that gets them a result. They know that they don't have to pay attention to things that are meaningless. They only engage in activities that have payoff. They're not likely to be in front of a television hours and hours. I'm not knocking down televisions. I watch Netflix and a couple of good shows, but other than that, you shouldn't be all day on TV or in a bar stool for that matter. And in that sense, the doers really enjoy life more than the drifters, because it's in the goals ahead that you find happiness. And as we get closer to those goals, you find happiness there, and they make everything work for them. They go see movies, they read books, they go to basketball games, and but they know why they are doing those things, because you need time for those things. And that makes all the difference between the doers and the drifters. Now, after that, he tells a little story about some of the doers should do, but it's 9:43, and I really want to share with us as to how we spend our time, the division of our day.
I agree. You know, we all get 24 hours a day, Hugo, and the broad divisions of that time are easy to see. You know, there's 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours for work, and 8 hours of spare time. That's the breakdown.
You got that right.
We can't mess around too much with the first division of time, or our health will suffer. We need our sleep. We can occasionally steal an hour or two from our sleep, but it's a bad habit. So let's not create any bad habits there. The 8 hours spent at work are potentially your most directly productive. You need to stay focused on your purpose and your habit of going the extra mile if this is going to be the case. The preceding 15 chapters of the book will teach you that. But in a few lines, we'll give you some tips to manage that time more effectively in attaining our purpose. But the last 8 hours are our spare time. We need to manage them as well, or we'll find them slipping away in routine household chores, reruns of Mr. Ed, and listening to our neighbor talk about his new lawnmower again. This can be harder, but I have
Or
some
playing nonsense games on your phone until 5 a.m.
Yeah.
That's what I'm guilty of.
Ah, the truth comes out.
Yes, it did.
As you'll see, managing your time, like managing your life, requires knowing what you want to use it for.
Yeah, Matt, thank you. And that brings us to the 9:45 mark. And since there is 6, 7 of us here, if each one will take 3 minutes to share anything that you feel like sharing as we leave this call.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. It's a delightful call. And ladies, I take my pension in August last year, and it's going to be a year now. Very soon, I'm going to be in pension. And take time to managing my time. It's a lot of thing, especially when you don't have to get up early no more, or going sleep late night. So having discipline to managing my time, it's something I learned with this mastermind. I have to go training. I have to do something for my personal project. I have to little bit travel, and keep the habit of saving alive, because when you got the 24-hour to spend, it's very fast to spend. So so yeah, because when I was working, I got time to don't spend because I was working, so it's quite normal. But now I have to do, I have to be correct with my spending, and it's always possible to put money in the bank with my pension plan and all that stuff, and put the good, to be profitable with my project. I do. And it takes time. Like you said, Matt and Hugo, you have to be the master of your soul and the captain of your fate, something like that. I'm not truly, I'm not aware of it, but it's very important to manage your time and your habit correctly, and and have some gratitude for your good health, because without your health, if you lose your health, it's very tough to accomplish something. It's possible, but it's very tough and take a lot of time. And me, I'm full of gratitude because I got a good health. I got a good mastermind. Everybody in my family are happy and got a good health and all that stuff. And we got us together here tonight, the 6 of us, and that's a powerful brain wave, of good vibration. And I'm sure the divine providence is with us, and everything we got in mind and soul, we're gonna accomplish it. So thank you very much, everybody, to be here tonight.
Thank you, Andre, for that. And that starts me off into some thoughts for today. I think that it is great to loop back to time and how we manage time. I think that looking at it in segments of 8 hours is very helpful. I've heard it broken down in different ways, but that really simplifies. And I know I don't get enough sleep, that's for sure. And I work a normal job, but I also have a business on the side. So just being very clear on how productive I am in both of those areas can really make a difference. I had a realization a few months ago that if I'm super productive at work, it gives me the space to actually focus my time on, some personal like passion projects and different things I'm working on. So I know that, when I'm very mindful and clear on what I'm doing with my time, I'm a doer. And also if I just allow myself to react to the day, and that can look like just responding to whatever it is, or I don't plan my day out or how it's going to look like in my spare time. I'm just really a drifter to life, reacting constantly to, circumstances, people, situations that dictate my time versus being in control of my time. So I know that being a doer really is someone who is mindful of how valuable time is, and is valuable of how much of that time goes to your definite chief aim. And so with that said, you know, for me, I know it has to be a discipline. I know that I go through times when I'm really good about time and other times that I'm not so good. And I think being clear in my planning each evening to plan for the day before, taking some time in the morning. I've been getting stronger and stronger at it, but there's, you know, room and growth for me around that because I am also committed to being a person that is not a drifter. I really do not want to drift. And I know, and as I mentioned before, I feel that, you know, there's certain habits that we all have that can have us easily drift. So, and I think surrounding ourselves with a mastermind, and, you know, I'm very grateful, you know, to join in to find this group to really discuss these principles versus, you know, study the laws of success on my own, has me really be able to take a look at different areas and be inspired by, you know, the feedback and, you know, these different ways to look at, you know, how I'm taking in the principles, and also share how it's landing with me. And so all of this really does, you know, help me to solidify my understanding and be as someone who really does achieve my definite aim. And I don't know if there's anything with that, but I did read Napoleon Hill's Outwitting the Devil, and I learned a lot about drifters and drifting through that. I recommend that to everyone here. I'm sure the Napoleon group. Yeah, I feel like Matt and wait, hold on a second. Matt and Hugo had read those books, but I actually read it. One of my mentors recommended reading that book, and so I definitely don't want to drift. I really don't want to drift, but it's really easy. I think it's really easy to let poor habits, especially, you know, ones that we've established since childhood, you know, filter back in, and to replace it. I guess this is tying it back into Tuesday's call about, you know, replacing a bad habit with a good habit, right? Whether you're a spender, replacing it with a saver mindset, or a person that's a, you know, saver. I think it's really important to always constantly look for ways and notice with personal inventory to recognize those habits so you can replace it with habits.
Thank you very much.
To be honest with you, I haven't read the whole book of Outwitting the Devil, but I did get through the drifters part, and it really outlines the drifters in that book. I think the beauty of what Napoleon Hill has showed us is also can be lined up with the laws of creation. He didn't give us everything that he had in the laws of success in 16 lessons. He gave us what he knew in 1929. He gave us what he knew. And then as he grew from there, he came out with other books like Think and Grow Rich, maybe a little more condensed version with a little bit different order. Then he came out with Outwitting the Devil. And I think everything comes together in this book, The Keys to Success, the 17 Principles of Achievement.
Wow.
What we talked about tonight, being budgeting our time and our money, was the main focus of what we talked about tonight. And it didn't really get much onto money, but we did talk about our time and having a definite major purpose and taking that personal inventory, you know, not only finding our character defects, but, you know, defining what our, you know, do we have a major purpose? Is it worth a, you know, burning desire? And have we planned, you know, giving things in return for its achievement? You know, there's things in the beginning of this chapter that really impact what we should be doing. And we should be paying attention to that personal inventory and seeing where we fall, and then focusing on being a doer, not a drifter, and taking time to look at different way we use our time. For instance, in our occupation, our mental habits, our relationships, our health and religion. It's easy for me to go to mental habits. I've known people that worry a lot. Does a doer really spend their mental habits worrying? Well, maybe they do, but if they were to evaluate themselves, maybe they wouldn't worry so much, perhaps. So I think that a doer uses their time pretty effectively, and with the division of our day, we can rob from some time, but it all comes down to time management, and I have a testimony of time management. I recently acquired a business, and this business has 22 accounts, and in the past, I was willing to wing it and take the screw it attitude and go gung-ho and blast my way through it and do or die. Not really self-control or but this time I took the time and I put everything into a program that manages my time, and I'm getting through this is my very first time that I've done my route, and I was able to get through it in enough time to get home and do my schoolwork today and to be able to participate with you guys on the call tonight. Unfortunately, last Tuesday I wasn't able to participate as effectively, but I was still with you in spirit.
Yeah, we know that.
That's adorable.
We resent it.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you guys for being here.
Thank you, Matt.
It's a
Very
round
glad.
table. It's a round table. Everybody gets a chance to speak one time. Forgive me.
Ooh.
Well, I guess I can try. Am I on? Can you guys see me? That's okay. So I've been doing a lot of talking with my husband about your guys's mastermind, and I'm really glad to be here tonight to be a part of it. And the thing that I've been able to figure out in tonight is definitely what my chief aim is. And my chief aim in life is to back my husband 100% in his goals, because they are also my goals.
Wow.
And
Awesome.
yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
Hi, Ashley.
Hello.
You're so cute. It's nice to see your face.
Wow.
Yep.
I was driving before, so I was like, oh, okay, hold on.
Right.
That's a great thing.
Awesome.
But Napoleon Hill also says that's a mastermind, right? Too, the husband and wife are, pairing up. That's probably the ultimate one.
That is the ultimate mastermind. In fact, in my church, they say the ultimate lifting up is through husband and wife. So yeah, it is a very important mastermind. It's the most important mastermind that there is. So Anthony's very lucky to have a wife that supports him. In the very first chapter of the Law of Success in 16 Lessons, it talks about how a wife can make or break her husband. And it's very, very, Anthony's very blessed. So good on you, Claudine.
Yep.
Thank you. He wasn't always blessed, though. It's been a trial getting me to this exact moment in my life to be able to support him and to have that burning desire inside of myself to be there, to be his right-hand man, or woman, however you want to say it. But I got to hand it to Anthony. I mean, my husband's amazing. He put up with me. He put up with my learning process. And believe me, it was a lot.
There is a lot to the laws of success. When you start to learn them, you can start to apply them on purpose in your life, and that's when real beauty can take shape. Is when we can take possession of our own minds and achieve the ends of our own choosing.
Anthony, do share a thought, Anthony. It's 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to end with, the simple fact that, I am very grateful and blessed for my wife. And in, our own Mastermind Alliance, we're making, a very big decision based on something for both of us. She loves the Manistee Forest. She loves the area. Her youngest daughter was born in the area. So she's wanted to go back there for years. We tried to go last year, didn't work. And then circumstances changed this year to really push us in that direction. So, sometimes things don't always work the way you plan, but when you plan and invest your time and energy in things, you may, experience the reward for what you planned a year ago now. So, we planned all this stuff a year ago. Now we're able to do it. It's a very interesting thing how it works out that way, how you really cannot anticipate what's going to happen. All you can do is invest your time and money into things and, have patience and keep doing it, persistence. And eventually you'll, get results. And ultimately, it's not about the results anyway. It's about the journey. And that's what we're focusing on. So I appreciate all you guys being here.
Excellent. Excellent. I guess that leaves Hugo for last. And I'm sorry, guys. I don't mean to interrupt you guys. It's just we like to keep it under an hour. And you can see how this can go on to an hour and a half or 2 hours as the group grows. I'd like to give thanks to Napoleon Hill for being here with us tonight. At the end of the day, it's about Napoleon Hill. 5 years ago, Matt started a page. And guess what the 5 years was this week? We become what we think about most of the time. And the task that you have today might take 5 years to realize. It doesn't have to take that long, but that's what it usually happens. So a little bit story about ourselves. We started this about 4 or 5 years ago. At first, we were so enthusiastic about this. There were 6 people in there, and hundreds of people have come through these calls. And then after a year or 2 went by, it wasn't working in harmony. And then it became about 2 of us continuing on our path. And then Matt came back to the call, and we haven't stopped since. We've been doing it every Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays. Now for 2.5 years, it has just been us. Anthony came into the picture now, so now the mastermind started growing. And we never wanted this to be a call for everybody. We wanted to prove that this works for us before we have any right to share with anybody else. But the thing is this, that now is coming to pass. Come next June 2nd and 6th, we're going to be associated with the Hill Foundation. And the goal is to help people understand these principles. Now, we don't expect nothing in return here because this is just a platform where we can share our thoughts. But that is our goal in life, to put people into the Hill Foundation organization. Now, that's the first thing there. The second thing I would like to say is like, I like that you said about outwitting the devil. The devil came on my house last night, and he came knocking on my door trying to talk to me. And then he tried to say to me, like, I need to call him master. No. Hold on a second. The devil ain't going to come by my door no more, because I understood through that book that the one person that the devil cannot touch is the person that knows what he wants from life. He can't touch you. He just can't touch you because you don't have no time to waste with the drifters. Thank you for letting me get off my chest. Now, this is about the habit of saving. And, one of the things I always tell people that the best way to learn these things is to first read it and then write an essay. Please, you don't understand how important it is to write an essay, or at least to have something in front of you so that when you speak, you know what you're speaking about. And that's just me. Forgive me. I could be wrong, but I could be right. If you write an essay, your kids are going to read it. You're going to come back 10 years, 20 years down the road, and you're going to see where you were at the state of life. So I'm going to like to share a little essay that I wrote back in 2015. That's 4 years ago. And thank you for giving me the opportunity. And after I'm done, if somebody can please say the prayer as we leave this call. Fair enough?
Fair enough, my friend.
Rock and roll.
You know, it's better to sacrifice during your age of youthfulness than to be compelled to do so in the age of maturity. You know, there's nothing quite so humiliated that carries such great agony and suffering than poverty when you get to be 50 or 60, when your personal services are no longer available and one must turn to their government for handout, worse, your relatives. So form the habit of saving something. And what this means is that we're going to, at least for some extent, seclude ourselves from some of those people. I mean, we got to get together with a selected group of people that enjoy our company without us having to entertain them. Now, to admit that, you know, we lack the courage to trim down our own expenses so that we can save a little money is the equivalent of saying that we don't have or we lack the character that we need in order to be successful. And I'll tell you why. Because it has been proven too many times that an employer will prefer to work with someone that is saving money than somebody that is not. That's a fact. That the people that can save money, it's more than just saving money. You're building your character, and that makes you more efficient. So it should be a common practice to all the business. That's why they have a 401k plan to put a little saving amount on, because most people can't do it themselves. And this will be a blessing that otherwise people will not have the power to form the habit of savings as to us that are self-employed. See, most businessmen will not trust one another with their monies unless that person has demonstrated the ability to care for his own money and use it wisely. And it's very embarrassing to those that do not have a little habit of savings. Opportunity just goes out the corner. See, opportunity does exist, and they're right outside your door. But they only come to those that have ready money, or who can command money because they have formed some form of savings and have developed the characteristics that you get from forming the habit of savings. And this character goes a long way with it. See, it often happens that it just has to be a small amount, $100. That's sufficient to start you up on a financial independence. So in close, I should say this, that you may be sad or cruel, but the fact is nonetheless that if you don't have no money and we have not developed this habit of savings, man, we're going to be out of luck as far as availing ourselves of opportunity to make money is concerned. So let us get this principle firmly founded. And once we do, we're going to be on a road to financial independence. You know, the greatest thing in life is freedom. And the only hope of escaping from a lifelong toil is to form the habit of savings and to live up to it. No matter how much sacrifice it may require, there is no other way. Unless, you know, you were born with a silver spoon and then you don't have to worry about spending money. Now, folks, you see those words right there? They were not my words. They were Napoleon Hill's words. That's what he would want you to do. He would say to you tonight, he would say, look, take my words, use it. They're under the public domain. Do what you will with them. Just don't write every single word like I wrote it, because then you're not being yourself, you're being somebody else. Be yourself. Take what I wrote it, read it, make it your own, and then go out there and share it with as many people as possible. And have a blessed night. We're loving your heart. Please do share a prayer, somebody. Thank you.
It's like, please do something, share a prayer or something. What? We know the prayer, don't we, Andre?
Oh, we know it. But you got to tell it.
Oh, divine providence. We ask not for more riches, but for more wisdom with which to use the riches you gave me at birth, consisting in the wisdom and power to control and direct my own mind to the choices of my own choices, or something like that.
Yeah. And thank you very much, everybody, to be here tonight. Matt, you go, you make a nice call. And everybody who come to that call was very nice, too. So I hope you're going to make it well. Thank you very much.
You're very
you,
welcome, and
everyone.
thank you.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
all
you
right.
too.
See you on
Thank you,
Sunday
everyone.
and Tuesday. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Peace out.
Peace.
Peace out. You told me, my dear.